Hey guys, it's Leslie. I'm going to be talking about abnormality, defining it, what is it, and applying a biblical worldview and our readings from the week. So I defined abnormality as something that is uncommon and strays from the norm. I did take note when I was thinking of the definition how short and concise it was when the concept itself is pretty complex. There's a lot to it. I think abnormality is definitely relative. There's so many things to consider. There's social, political factors, experiences, personal beliefs, location, geography, culture. There's so many things to look at. And so when I was thinking of all of those factors and the things that we should consider, I thought of historically, the consequences that we've seen from not taking those things into consideration. We see this from the Greek civilizations all the way through the 17th century, and just people having accusations and assumptions made about them, whether they had a mental illness and were treated really horrifically, or they exhibited abnormal behaviors and no context was taken into consideration and they were also treated horrifically. I think that also kind of led into a little bit later on in the textbook. It talks about a belief of the importance of looking at the social and political context around behaviors in general. And someone that they brought up is Thomas Szasz. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But he had quite an abnormal belief for his time in general. But one of the supporting beliefs that he thought was, just because society deems a behavior as atypical or abnormal doesn't mean that it's an illness. I think that that's a really important thought to explore. I think that in our society and today, that has kind of gotten taken to the extreme in some cases, where people are normalizing or even encouraging abnormal behaviors that may otherwise be concerning and be something that that should be looked into. And when people start encouraging this, something that I've seen is people start to take this on, whether it's a mental illness or it's self-diagnosed or it's an abnormal behavior that's being encouraged, they start to take it on as their identity. And that, of course, made me go to the Bible and think about what God says about our identity. And I thought of 2 Corinthians 5:17, whoever is in Christ is a new creation. That is our identity. We are in Christ. We are made in his image. We are sons and daughters of the Most High King. That is our identity. And that, I think, is such an important thing to look at when we are seeing just different levels of abnormal behavior being normalized, encouraged, talked about, educated about. And so that brings me to my question or questions. Do you think that there has been a shift from bringing awareness to mental illness, from that to normalizing dysfunctional and distressing symptoms? And then how can we help people living with mental illness have self-efficacy and empowerment without fueling the worldly trends? I think that there's definitely a balance, and there's so much importance to all of the factors, but also the extremes of any of them can be dangerous. And so I think that that's just an interesting conversation, and I would be interested to hear what other people have to say.